This is B-Boy Smurf,
And I am B-Boy Steve.
and we are.
Veve Arcade.
That's right.
Let's get into it.
Today we're going to talk about comics versus collectibles on why we think comics could have more of a bullish run.
Ooh, interesting.
That's right.
So, uh, so before we jump into why we think it's better, do you have a favorite comic on the app?
I do.
Which one?
Obviously, I want to say Marvel's number one.
That's your favorite one?
That's
your personal favorite? Or
my
the one
personal
that you-
favorite would be Ghost Rider.
Okay.
That's my personal favorite. But after the movies, they ruined his image, and I don't think he's coming back anytime soon. But I would say that Marvel's number one is my favorite comic to hold on the app.
Oh, I like that. I'm kind of tossed up. Like before Veve, I was never really a big comic book enthusiast at all. I liked Amazing Spider-Man number 1 and number 5. I have a few of each. Those were my two favorites. For some reason, I just like the cover art. I like Spider-Man. The movies are always good.
Right.
The comics are pretty good. So I'm going Spider-Man as my favorite comic.
That's right.
Although my biggest stack of comics is Ghost Rider. I bought like a few on the drop, and I really bought a few more because I was listening to Wu-Tang Clan. I was like, Johnny Blaze ain't a damn thing changed. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to buy a few more. And that's what led me
Ghost
to
Rider's relevance in pop culture is...
Yeah, well, yeah. Shout out Method Man and Wu-Tang Clan. But, I mean, luckily for me, it wasn't a bad move.
Right. No.
It worked out. I got it on the day of the drop when it got cheap real quick.
Right.
So,
On the drop, I got the common and a rare. I got a few commons. I flipped them though. I flipped them. And
I just bought a few commons. I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna keep.
Yeah. I feel like getting some more, especially this week.
Maybe next week.
All right, so we're talking about comics versus collectibles. Why we think comics are better than collectibles. Ooh.
Okay. So for me personally, one of the things that I like about the comics is number one, they have a really strong nostalgia. They already have like a connection to the real world, and I think it's easy for people outside to actually connect with these because they have an understanding of comics. There's already an understanding of value. It already has a history. It already exists. So it's very relatable for everyone. And at the same time, it's kind of connecting youth, people who wouldn't even want to carry their comic books with them. They have them all in their pocket. They can show everyone.
Right.
They're awesome.
It could be like the father. Your dad could be a comic book collector that actually had one of these, and now you can have the digital version. The dad could pass it on to this kid. There's a lot of historic relevance to the books.
Yeah, I can see that as you can pass down collections.
Right. I think another reason for me that I prefer, not prefer, I'm not in any position, but why I think comics could be more bullish is because you can only make one Spider-Man 1. A Mickey statue, you can make 100 Mickey statues. There's not one. The Steamboat could be one, but a Spider-Man 1, and there's not going to be any more Spider-Man 1 reprints unless...
I mean, maybe they could do a second print if they all disappeared off the market.
Would they do that? I mean,
it would only increase the value of the first print.
It would.
And it would provide the people that couldn't get one a print.
How long do you think it would have to take before you could actually do that and get away with it?
That'd be a while. I think they might have so much coming down the pipe.
20 years?
No, not that long.
Not that long?
No, I think it just depends on how long it takes for them to get whatever they consider mass adoption.
Right.
So one of the other things that I think will really increase the value of these comics and that I could see possibly happening is immersive comics. So we can already kind of like on the Veve app scale the comic, kind of adjust the way it looks.
Right.
I've seen a couple of videos on YouTube where you're able to kind of walk into some comic book panels.
Ooh,
and
that'd
be able
be
to
fresh.
see the environment that you're in with virtual reality or like your Oculus or something like this. So I think eventually with the technology of like AR, we're going to be able to possibly see inside of these panels.
Or how about an animated panel? Like a lenticular card. When you turn the page, characters start moving. But is that the real comic book, though? Would that take away the value of some of these books?
No, I think that would increase. If imagine being able to step into a comic book and have an experience Like if I open the comic book, I could scale the panel, walk into this panel, which would be like a 3D environment, and be able to see the action as it happened, kind of like an animate, kind of like a movie or a small section where you would be involved in the action. Not like you would be involved, but you'd be able to be in the middle of it
Ooh,
and see it
that'd be
happening.
really cool. That'd be
And
really
and I
cool.
think something like that with the comic books isn't impossible. It's a lot of detail and a lot of time, but it's not like each one has to do something different. Maybe the
Right.
panels do, but you only have to make that once.
I think that's something else that will change the game that I know is coming. This is speculations, y'all. You'll be able to download your comics to where you're gonna need Wi-Fi to look at your collectibles. Oh, I don't know if you're able to do that. You have to have Wi-Fi in order to see your collectibles,
No,
right?
I mean you just gotta have internet service.
But either way, you still have to be connected in order to see them.
It does have to open, yeah.
What if I can travel and without internet, I can see my collectibles and I could carry all these books I could read on the plane. I could start doing things with them, stuff like that. You could even have school. You could publish books, legit books, not only comics. Even though I know we're talking about comics, but books could come into play. Like we said, lenticular cards. We could have Harry Potter's hot books where you have the ghost moving shit like that. But not being able to display them on your showroom or takes away the I'm not inspired to buy the books if I can't display them. I think that once I'm able to put comics along my showroom, I think it'll inspire me to buy more books.
I
What do you
hope.
think?
I hope one of the things that will make the comic books cool in the future is not only being able to display them in my showroom, but being able to scale them and use them as like wall backgrounds, or I can make them
Mm,
like I can park my DeLorean on my Spider-Man comic book because the book has been scaled large enough to cover the
right, right.
floor, or what I
But
would like to
well, you
like
that's not that won't be possible though.
I don't know. I don't know. You don't
I
know.
don't know. I don't know. I don't know.
If you guys know, make
Let
sure
us
you let us
know.
know
Let
down
us
in the
know.
comments. We want to know ASAP.
I'm gonna hit up David. You. I'll email him tonight.
You do that. So, but I would love to also be able to select a page in the comic book instead of it just having to be the cover page all the time. And maybe if I can scale it, select a certain page, certain panel, make it big, and use that panel as the background or as the floor.
That sounds great. That sounds great in
But I think
theory.
these things are
In
possible
theory,
because they have scalable.
they do. But see, the thing is that if a I always my first thought would be that a comic book would only be scalable to the size of a comic book in a showroom, just like the DeLorean stays at a specific size. A poster is a poster that you can, if you can just use a comic book as a poster, it'll bring the value of these posters down because you're able to stretch out the poster.
Yeah, but the comic books, I think the comic books are more valuable than the posters.
It depends.
I
Bishop
believe.
number one is going under retail.
Yeah, but I still think the comic books in general will outperform the
They
posters in
they
the long
will,
run.
but some posters, I mean, I don't know. I don't know, but I feel like they'll devalue the posters on the app. I feel like I would like to, but I think that they should keep them comic book size, and they should be that small in the showroom. You might be able to put a few on the wall and stack them up, but to build them up as posters, that'd be pretty cool though.
So, guys, let us know. Do you want scalable comics or not?
That's the question.
That's the question right now.
Everybody's gonna shit on me. Like, no,
But let's be honest. The comics look to stand the test of time.
yes, they do.
Currently,
Yes, they do. That's right. That's right.
so I can see comics based on what happens in the future potentially holding a lot of value and probably higher value than a lot of the NFTs, as a lot of them we don't know, but maybe in the future, let's say some of them don't get use.
Right.
So, or they don't get animated or anything
Right,
like
right,
that.
right.
So eventually this comic book that has real world value will eventually translate into real digital world value.
Right.
You know what I mean?
One last thing. I know we gotta wrap this up.
Okay.
One last thing.
Go.
These comic books have a story entangled within the item. When you
Correct.
open it, there's a storyline, and I think that's more valuable than just having a toy. Even though the toy has value and a storyline behind it, I think the book having the story within the item itself, where you can just read through it, I think it touches my heart.
All right, guys, let us know down in the comments what you think and what's your favorite comic to collect, whether it's the most valuable one you got or you're just your favorite in general. Let us know. Make sure you guys hit the like and subscribe, and we'll catch you guys next time. This is VV Arcade, and we are out.
Insert coins.
Peace.